She didn't really want to make this journey. Last year, her family did the trek across Iowa from Nauvoo to Council Bluffs. She knew what a 3-month journey would involve.
I said no, go on your own. I wasn't going to go, but then the thoughts of being left behind seemed almost worse than not going.
With 4 of their 6 children in tow, the Whitakers set out to learn more about their pioneer ancestors and themselves.
Think back to those women who crossed the plains. What are your thoughts about them?
Admiration. We have it easy. I don't know how they did it. You know, we pull out our coolers, we pull out our sandwiches, and people give us a hard time for carrying Pringles and peanut butter. They couldn't give those to their kids. I think that would be tough.
No one will know how hard and difficult it is. Everyone I've talked to, they all say it sounds fun and I wish I could do it, and it is fun, but it's very hard.
We get up at 4:30, just break camp, get breakfast. Then I try and walk. We head out at 7, and I try and walk for 2 or 3 hours. Then get Aaliyah dressed, read to her, play with her, drive the team while Tom takes a nap. Then come set up camp again, get dinner. I think it's brought us a sense of strength, really, that we can accomplish quite a bit together. Quite a bit.
Few trail landmarks meant as much to 19th century immigrants as Independence Rock. Here they would join a new highway, the Sweetwater River, which they would follow for 93 miles to South Pass and the Continental Divide. Here they would scratch their names into the hard granite stone. And here the Mormon Trail wagon train of 1997 would camp one night before resuming the journey west. It is called the Mormon Trail wagon train, and during the 3-month trek from Omaha to Utah, dozens of wagons made at least a portion of the journey. While hundreds rode, thousands more walked, many of them pushing and pulling hand carts.
You're doing great.
Turn off the truck.
Whoa.
Each day brought its challenges, but this day had special meaning for the modern handcart pioneers. Here in 1856, the Martin Handcart Company sought temporary refuge from early winter storms that ultimately claimed the lives of more than 145 immigrants.
The handcarts belong here. This is a place where, even though really the migration of the Saints was 67,000 by wagon and 3,000 by handcart, it's probably become the biggest story. It's the logo, in a sense, of the Mormon Trail, is the handcart. You really got it.
I've been 805 miles. I got a lot to go.
As captain of the modern handcart company, Mike Dunn led the walkers past Martin's Cove.
Mike, what does a handcart captain do?
Organize about 300 people a day. Well, most of the time it's 300 new people a day.
Some of the modern handcart pioneers walked for a day, others 2 or 3 days, or even a week or more. Only about 40 made the entire journey from Omaha to Salt Lake City.
We have a separate prayer before we head out and bless our feet instead of our horses. We have songs that we sing, and we sing as we go, and just to keep each other going.
You a little envious sometimes of those horse-drawn wagons?
No, never. We have too much fun back here. You get to talk to too many great people. You get to feel too much of what they went through. I mean, it's impressive, but I love being back with the handcarts. we draw that respect as we come in. People are impressed. They see these big wagons move by and they get impressed with that. Then, like a while later, people come walking in and they're like, wow. You know, and you kind of get that sense, and it makes you feel good.
The trail took the pioneers west along the Sweetwater River, up and over the Continental Divide at South Pass.
That's a good feeling to know that we're on the downhill slide now.
It's like a milestone. It gives you a special feeling of encouragement, just like today, being here at the Continental Divide. You feel like, yeah, you've made a goal.
We made it to the top, and we're making it on the rest of the way in.
At one point, Gordon B. Harrell seriously wondered if he would make it in. He came from England to join the wagon train shortly after undergoing surgery for colon cancer. Never mind the discomfort of walking across the plains with a colostomy. Then, near Scottsbluff, Nebraska, he had a relapse and had to be hospitalized.
I began to just wonder and question as to whether or not I'd be in a position to be able to catch them up. But after 8 days in hospital, I was back on the road, put on a handcuff, pushed and pulled for 2 days, and then started to walk. And 10 days after I'd left hospital, I would walk 27 miles, following day 25, and I've been doing the full mileage ever since.
Harrell continued walking while the wagons rolled from South Pass along the Big Sandy and the Little Sandy to the formidable Green River. The 1997 pioneers didn't need to ferry across the river. The modern bridge worked just fine. But someone said, let's build a ferry and cross like they used to. So they did. Besides, it was quite a show.
I need to find out where he wants to go for life jackets.
A few things made this 1997 crossing considerably different than 1847. 75 to 100 emergency personnel on hand just in case.
Well, during the historic river crossings, some people say they averaged a drowning a day, and so that's not the part of the crossing we wish to recreate today.
Take her out across!
First, the Wyoming State wagon made it across, then the 4 other state-sponsored wagons.
I spent 18 days building it. We spent a day bringing it to the river, and we spent 2 days getting the cable across and making a trial run with it.
In pioneer times, the livestock swam the river. This day, they used the nearby bridge.
This feels great. It just feels like all the effort was worth it.
Okay.
You know, everybody thought when we started talking about this, why, you know, it just wouldn't work. We'd never get it done, but it's, you know, I feel like we really accomplished something here.
Just as last century, once across the river, they could continue their journey west.
Go, 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 go!
Another state boundary and another changing of the guard.
And nice work with you.
Great.
You bet. I'll continue to support you all the way.
Wyoming Wagon Master Ben Kern turned over the reins to Utah Wagon Master Bob Lowe for the final push into the valley. From the Green River, the Mormon Trail wagon train rolled past Granger, Wyoming to Fort Bridger, through the hills to the Utah border about 8 miles south of Evanston, into Echo Canyon to Hennifer, through East Canyon and Emigration Canyon to Salt Lake City. The official Utah State wagon took the lead as the train went through one of the most pristine areas of the entire journey.
It doesn't get much better than this. I've been from the Nauvoo to here, and that's got to be one of the best ones.
For a moment, back in time, through wheel-high sagebrush, completely away from highways and other evidence of modern civilization.
We're going to enjoy it because pretty soon we're going to have to get out on the highway and on the asphalt, and that's when things change.
It didn't last long. The next day, down Echo Canyon, alongside Interstate 80 and the Union Pacific's main east-west rail line. It took a lot of cooperation and coordination to get the wagon train over the tracks and down the canyon in between those powerful and noisy 20th century trains.
We're back to civilization, but we're grateful to be here. We believe in progress, and we wouldn't want this to be the way it was 150 years ago.
Leading the wagon train through Utah brought great personal satisfaction to Bob Lowe.
I love you. I love you, sweetheart. Oh, you're all wet.
What began years ago as a family dream soon mushroomed into much more.
I love you,
Yet
my
the
friend.
Lowe family remained at the very core of the entire effort. Daughter Bree Cornell sat on the wagon train's 7-member board of directors. Son Gordon did much of the logistical planning. Other children and grandchildren carried out their duties. Their family business is Colorado Stables. They run the wagon ride and food concessions. This is the Place State Park in Salt Lake City. So with 5 wagons in line and more than 24 family members on board, the Lowes were the heart and soul of the Mormon Trail wagon train.
It's overwhelming because our initial purpose and concept of this whole thing was so minuscule in our mind as to what it actually developed into. We just didn't have any idea that it would develop into this kind of an operation.
Few communities along the trail welcomed the wagon train as enthusiastically as Hennifer. 2 evenings of warm hospitality and festivities, of speeches and music and food. It seemed a forerunner of even bigger celebrations to come. Still, as with 150 years ago, the most difficult part of the journey lay ahead. Just a few miles out of Hennifer, the climb up Hog's Back Summit. Some historians have called it Heartbreak Ridge. Just as the pioneers crested the hill, in the distance they could see another formidable barrier.
I've done a lot of hooting and hollering on this trip, but the loudest one was when I saw those Wasatch Mountains right there.
Oh my gosh, I thought, here's home. This is Zion. I was so happy to see that, honestly.
We've come over 1,000 miles and realized we only have another 20 or 30 miles to go. That's a great view.
Forget the fatigue of the day's journey or the ordeal that's still ahead. Instead, enjoy a weekend of relaxation at East Canyon State Park before making a grand entrance into the valley.
Go the extra 1,000 miles, the teachings of the day. As we journey on our way, let's try to make it a brighter day. We don't want to leave anyone behind. If you fall, we'll help you cope. Let our hearts be full of hope. Together the path will not be hard to find. Lately I've been hearing of all the pioneering stories so of the Treck. Lately I've been thinking, would I be just as willing to go the extra 1,000 miles? Lately I've been hearing of all the pioneering stories so endearing to me. Teachings of the Treck. Lately I've been thinking, would I be just as willing to go the extra 1,000 miles for the teachings of the Treck?
A tough pull for everyone on Monday, July 21st. But the wagons and the hand carts all made it to the top of Big Mountain. There before them, the valley of the Great Salt Lake.
You made it!
This is spectacular. We worked pretty hard to get here.
3 cheers for the hand carts. Hip, hip,
You've been waiting for this.
Yeah, we've been waiting for 3 months.
When you first saw this, Brian, when you walked up over the hill, crested the hill, saw the valley, your thoughts?
I had a great wellspring of gratitude that my God had brought us here safely.
You really feel like that?
I do. I do.
You've been the spiritual leader of this group. You've had responsibility for their spiritual welfare. You talk about God bringing you here safely.
I don't think there's any question. There are so many unexplained phenomena that have happened, so many blessings, so many miracles along this whole way that many people should have been seriously hurt, and they have escaped that serious injury, and all is well.
At Big Mountain, they privately savored their accomplishment, then knelt together in a prayer of thanks. One more day, and they would share the experience with the masses. The crowd gathered early at This Is the Place State Park on July 22nd. What a welcome they had in store. While a few miles away, the wagon train moved down Emigration Canyon.
Well, to be welcomed home affects me deeply.
Welcome to Utah, you guys. This is what the original pioneers were all about. They settled the country that we could have this experience at this time in our lives.
This is no longer our wagon train. This belongs to the people.
I can hardly even describe my emotions. It's an incredible sight.
All these people that are here, overwhelming.
incredible experience and an awesome experience to come home.
To each of you, we extend our sincere thanks. You have arrived, all of you safely, some of you injured, some perilously so, but you are all here. You will now go your separate ways, but you will never forget this remarkable experience, nor will we. You will tell your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren about the year of 1997 when you made the long journey west, following the tracks of the pioneers of 150 years earlier. God bless you, my beloved associates, what you have done for each of us. You have brought to the attention of millions upon millions of people across the world the story of the unparalleled migration of our people from Nauvoo and from Liverpool and beyond to this valley in the mountains. You have experienced in a very real way much of the hardships of a century and a half ago. Your wheels again cut deep into the sandy soils of Nebraska. The silhouette of your wagons against the Wyoming sky created a picture of unique and wondrous beauty. To every one of you who has made this long and difficult journey, we extend our sincere thanks.